Hey folks, welcome back to Stranded Survivors. My name is Matt. I'm one of your co-hosts.
And my name is Jericho. I'm a co-host of the Stranded Survivors podcast. Matt, how are you doing? What have you been up to?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm exhausted. The little rugrats have kept me on my toes lately and kept me busy, but that's all good stuff. It's good to keep in motion. As far as art goes, we are making leaps and bounds in the PVE server. We've got some good Argents, thanks to you and thanks to Pierre and Steven. Calvin's been doing some work too. Everybody's been pitching in, carrying their own weight. We cordoned off like a pretty huge area so that way as people join the server, we've got room to build and things like that. So I'm feeling pretty confident about what we're doing, and I'm calling it now. We are going to beat the bosses in, I'm going to say, 2 months max.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's a very fair statement overall.
What about you, man? What do you got to update us on?
So honestly, I've been playing more on the PVE server with you guys, which has been awesome. It's just fun to play with you guys. I've very much
Yeah.
enjoyed myself doing that. And, just kind of been taming a lot, honestly. I've been flying around the map looking for high levels, which the island, ridiculous for finding high levels. Very irritating to find high levels.
Next to impossible, it seems like.
Pretty much. So other than that, man, Ark's been going really good. Been playing a little bit on PvP every once in a while. RG died the other day that I had. So sad. I want to cry now. But in real life, honestly, been working a lot. The holidays are coming up. I bought my wife stuff for Christmas, and the package arrived, and it didn't say Amazon on it, and she figured out what it was, so I had to give it to her early. But other than that, it's been going good, man.
We're good. Yeah, I mean, the holidays are definitely coming up on you, so good on you for staying ahead of the game because I am not. Man, well, a lot has happened in the past a week or so since our last episode came out, and I feel like this week we should just take some time to address some of the news things that came out. We just had the charity event that ended yesterday, as of the time of recording, and they announced a lot of cool things, as well as some of the stuff from the community crunch, and just the general state of the game from what we're witnessing from all the things we're seeing while we play. Um, Jericho, I'm gonna sort of let you take the helm on this one, bud. You got all the news pulled up for us?
Yeah, I got a couple things pulled up here. So one of the cool things that they're adding for their Winter Wonderland event that they have every year is they're adding Krampus, which is a skin, that you can look, and it honestly it looks pretty cool. You guys should go check it out. We'll have it in our Discord. But like, I mean, it's got his horns, and then he's got like the bells hanging, just kind of like Krampus in general. But it looks absolutely amazing.
So is that the skin? You said it's a skin, and it gets applied when something to do with being AFK. So like, does it get applied to the person who is AFK, or does it like?
So I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know any of that, or if what's necessarily going to happen or anything. But I don't know. I think that's just a rumor for now. So I guess we'll see what happens when it actually comes out.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they're gonna play that because my first thought, and everybody in the tribe was talking about like on Call of Duty how they do the jump scares and stuff like that. So that was our first thought, and I was curious to see if maybe you were in the same mindset of that.
Honestly, I think if they do the stuff with the character and having it actually do stuff, I mean that would make sense to me because if you're just sitting there, scrolling on your phone instead of grinding, and that thing just comes up and jump scares you, you'd be freaked out to be honest for at least the first little bit.
Yeah, I mean you'd probably get used to it over time, but it would definitely have its startle factor in the very beginning, especially depending on where in the map you are.
Yeah, that is true. You could imagine being in a cave for some reason and going AFK.
Who goes AFK in a cave? What kind of monster are you?
You know, I don't know, but so yeah, and then other than that, another thing they announced, which is very cool, is the new dino that got picked for Scorched Earth is the Facilosuchus. I don't even know how to say the name. Sorry, just totally butchered it. That is going to be coming to Scorched Earth, and we just seen that dino and that graphic of that dino, and honestly, I think that thing looks very cool.
I do too. I'm curious to see what type of abilities it's gonna have. I'm not familiar with whether or not that creature is like an actual prehistoric creature, and I'm not sure like what it was like. So I mean, I've got a lot of research to do on it I kind of want to theory craft what its uses are going to be. But once again, with having no background for the dino and just going off of the picture, I mean, if you had to guess, what do you think it's going to be used for? What abilities do you think it'll have? I mean, just going solely off what we see here.
It is kind of hard, like you said, without a lot of research and different things. I mean, it lives in a desert. It kind of looks like a little lizard thingy, which I know everything does. That's what I've been told. But I don't know. It kind of looks like a. Either way, I think the thing does. I think it can do something with water. I know there's not a lot of water on Scorched, but I think that the things will be able to honestly climb up like a Thylaco.
Oh, that's an interesting
I don't
theory.
know.
Yeah, it does have pretty impressive claws on the feet there as I'm looking at it. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
what do you think it's going to be able to do?
So I'm definitely overthinking it here, but looking at the teeth, looking at the claws, you can tell it's carnivorous, I'm assuming. It doesn't look very friendly. It has a lot of spikes on its head and on its back. And the angles and curves to those spikes, as well as the yellow coloring on the face, on its back and head, and then the green above the eyes, leads me to believe it's going to have some sort of poisonous effect. Maybe a spitting cobra attack, or maybe like a Komodo dragon venomous saliva type of situation.
Hmm, that would make sense.
I don't know. It just it screams poison to me for some reason.
I mean, that makes sense, honestly. Like you said, with the green and yellow on its face, I could see that very much being so.
Yeah. I don't know though. It's the only thing I can confirm is that it has sharp teeth, so it must eat meat.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's going to eat us too.
Oh, probably. It's going to be rough. So that's coming Scorched
So,
Earth. Is that going to be available like the day Scorched Earth gets released, or is that going to be added later?
so from what I'm understanding, it's going Scorched Earth is released is when this should be able to come out. So March of 2024 is when Scorched Earth come out. It has been delayed.
Mm. Shocker. I don't even know
Such
what
a
else to
shocker.
say.
Come on, wild card.
Yeah. I don't even know what else to say except for shocker.
Yeah.
Wow. Much surprise. So wow.
Yeah. So with coming also with Scorched Earth, another thing we have is the Frontier Adventure Pack, right? So it's just kind of like skins, and apparently trains will be coming out with it. But sad part is you will have to buy this stuff.
Microtransactions. I told you.
Did say microtransactions were coming.
Oh my gosh. So the train itself is a microtransaction, or just the skins are a microtransaction?
I, from what I'm understanding, the trains and everything involved are all for microtransaction.
Okay. So I'm about to get on my soapbox here again, because if that's truly the case, a train would give you the capability to, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I would assume that a train would give you the capability to transport very, very, very large amount of materials very quickly across the ground, right?
That would be my assumption.
If that's the case, and that's a microtransaction paywall lock right there, then that gives individual tribes a massive leg up. That gives you such a huge gameplay advantage. It's a Quetzal that moves, 5 times the speed probably. You just have to lay tracks down first. That's broken. If you can make tracks in a train going from a metal spawn back to your base, or any rare resource that you would need to harvest, you have a huge advantage from the people next door that don't have that extra money laying around for those stupid microtransactions.
Yeah, I agree, man. Honestly, if this is a thing, this is a big game changer, especially for PvP, because you said, I mean, not everyone has money to spend on even just a game. They already spent money on the game itself, and I just think this is going in the wrong direction. I understand they have no money, you know, Snail Games has no money. I don't know if it's Wildcard or Snail Games that decided to do it, but this is very nerve-wracking for the future of the game.
It is, because I mean, I was afraid of that happening with mods and things like that, but it didn't even cross my mind to have it happen with, major additional items. And I understand the cosmetics. I completely understand if all of the skins that they give you were taken away and put behind a paywall. Like, that wouldn't even bother me, because that's just a visual aesthetic. It doesn't change the game. But the second that you
Yeah,
start adding items that have different statistics, they have different DPS, they have different armor ratings, the capability for different carrying weights and speeds. I mean, that is all game altering stuff. That changes the mechanics of the way you're going to interact with the world, and that's not fair to put behind a microtransaction.
I I guess we'll see kind of how things end up working out, but very nerve wracking.
It definitely is, and I truly fear that that is the direction they're going to go just because like you said they have no money. They're really struggling to keep their head afloat and keep the lights on here, and it just unfortunately it's the direction that video games are going nowadays, you know? Fortnite, Call of Duty, like all these games, even Rocket League and like Need for Speed, all these different games have battle passes and season passes and all these different microtransaction things that they're expected to pitch in little by little, bit by bit, and it just seems that that's the way that games are made nowadays, and it's unfortunate. I mean, it really shows my age that back in my day we didn't make games like that. Rah, rah, rah. It's just it sucks. It's irritating, and I thought Wildcard was going to be above that.
Yeah, definitely. I think things have changed in games in general, and I think that's the main reason why.
They just don't make them like they used to anymore. Dang it.
So let's get into something releasing actually very soon on the 20th as a cross-platform game mode for Ark Survival Ascended. We have the survival of the fittest.
Hey, let's go, Hunger Games time.
Time for Hunger Games in Ark. Matt, I hope you're ready, man. I'm honestly ready to play the heck out of this.
So, first off, I'm absolutely ready. Second off, for anybody who has never played Survival of the Fittest, never heard of it even, I mean, if you're not familiar with the game mode, let me catch you up to speed. When I say Hunger Games mode, that's only like half of a joke. You all pretty much, like it's Fortnite or Call of Duty or Warzone or something, y'all pile onto a Quetzal, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you all pile onto a Quetzal.
Yeah, yeah, y'all pile onto a Quetzal, you get above the map, and you all have the ability to jump off. There's no fall damage, but I don't think there were parachutes or anything. You just sort of skyrocket at Mach speed into the ground. And wherever you hit, there's going to be a whole bunch of loot crates all over
Wait,
the
whoa, whoa,
place.
whoa. I was gonna
Hmm.
say, where you go is you spawn in the middle, remember? You spawn in like a little circle. Then people can rush towards the middle or run out.
Do you really? I could have swore that it was a drop.
Yeah, so from what I remember, at least this was way back in the day, because I really have not played in forever because I was on Xbox and it didn't really whatever. But I thought that you used to just stand in the middle like the Hunger Games did, and then you go and grab stuff. Did they switch it to the Quetzal?
Yeah, unless I'm mistaken, the most recent version of it that was on Survival Evolved, you jumped off on a Quetzal, I think it was. I just remember that you skyrocketed down, and I was
Okay.
absolutely panicking that I was going to die when I hit the ground, and there was no fall damage. So I know you jumped off of
Okay.
something. I want to say it was a Quetzal. I think they gave you a line through the map, similar to how they do in Warzone. There were drops everywhere. Once again, I could be mistaken, but this is how I recall it. Um, and then you get like certain taming tokens or something like that. You're allowed to tame X amount of dinos, and the way you tame them is a little bit different than it is in the main game. And once you get this little army of dinos, your object is to creep through the island or whatever map you're on and eliminate every other player. And at the end of it, if you're the last one standing, then you are the winner. And it's cool because like each time somebody gets eliminated, there's like a little cannon that goes off and it'll show them up in the sky. So it is very reminiscent of Hunger Games. Cracks me up. I love it.
Yeah, either way, I think no matter which way it is played, this is just very fun to me. I've always loved Hunger Games and thought there should be a game like that. So I'm very excited.
It's gonna bother me right now. So while we talk, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. But either way, I'm really excited for it because it's a good change of pace. Every now and then you find yourself doing the same little things, running laps around the base, just jumping on people's heads, doing silly stuff. Yesterday, Kelvin and Steven were getting bored at the base, so they went on this like weird tranquilizing fest where they were like knocking each other out with various different ways and dragging each other around afterwards, and they were just bored messing around having fun. But it's one of those times where if you find yourself in a situation like that, you can always jump out of the main game, head over to Survival of the Fittest, test your luck for District 12, and then jump back in. My internet's not cooperating, so I'm not even going to try to continue looking that up. We're just going to say that whichever way it is, whether it's the one in the middle from the retro version that Jericho remembers, or it's the one where you jump out of a Quetzal that's this weird fever dream I'm having, whichever one it is, it's fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm curious to see how they're going to change it in Survival Ascended. Maybe they're going to go back to that original one where you're all on a platform in the middle. I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
New game,
I
new rules,
honestly,
right?
the thing I think that would be nice is like if we play on PVE, you'll be able to get your PvP on Survival of the Fittest. And honestly, I think this like Survival of the Fittest has so much potential that you could even make events for it and like give people money or just do it for fun. Like I think we could personally host Survival of the Fittest events eventually, and I think that'd just be very fun for everyone involved.
So yeah, like I said, I tried to look it up. My internet took a doo doo. I'm back, but whichever version it's gonna be, new game, new rules. Let's go.
Right. And you get that PvP aspect into it, man. I'm ready for that. We'll be able to host our own events, hopefully.
Absolutely, and that's another point that I wanted to bring up is I'm a PVE fella, and Survival of the Fittest is a 100% salt-free, no wasted time opportunity to test your metal in PvP.
Yeah, that's going to make it so much more exciting.
Hmm. Oh, what else do we have here? We got Survival of the Fittest. That's big news coming soon. What else do we have?
Yeah, so, I mean, kind of, we got a statement from the co-founder of Studio Wildcard about the server's performance. Firstly, I want to say the servers are butt, but the other word. They run like butt, and their stability is butt. We need to improve. It is going to be improved imminently.
Man,
So, I mean, that's cool.
that is cool because the servers are complete butt, and it's ridiculous. There's been times where, like, first off, I was complaining that they needed to add more official servers because it's outrageous that all the servers are at server cap. If you look at the amount of concurrent players that we have in Survival Ascended compared to the amount of slots available on the amount of maps available, they're really not setting people up for a successful experience. We have I complained about it either last week or the week before where a couple of our tribe mates were waiting multiple hours to get in, and that's happened to all of us. Like every single one of us in the tribe has spent between 1 to 4 hours trying to get into a queue to get into our server, and that's just, you know, to play for a little bit. And I mean, by the time you get into it, your time's up and you're not able to play. We're all semi-casual players, so we don't have 8 to 10 hours, you know what I mean?
These servers, man.
And it's frustrating that, like, stability wise, even on the times when the servers aren't capped out, the servers are so unstable that, like, we're looking at 67 out of 70 and it's saying that connection timeout, unable to join, try again, like stupid stuff like that where it's just not able to put two and two together for some reason. And with all due respect, that's on their end, and he's correct. That is but, and they need to fix it imminently.
Something that happened to me today actually was I went to go join a queue to get in, and it was like 20 minutes. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to refresh and see what happens. So I refreshed, and it said, oh, server's at 65. I clicked join, and I got in. So I don't know if the queues are still technically broken or something, but I was very confused on why it just didn't let me in earlier if there already was no people in there.
Yeah, and that's kind of an issue that we've been seeing too with, like, it's not full, but the servers are so unstable that it's having connection timeout issues when it's trying to load in, even when the server's not at max capacity. So you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. Either it's full or you're not going to connect. So I mean, it's a lose-lose situation. And it's like I told the other tribe mates the same thing, that if you refresh it, if you like back out of the queue and you load back in after like between 6 and 10 attempts, half the time you'll get in. So you just got to keep trying. I think you're onto something, that the queue might be broken,
Yeah.
which sucks because, I mean, people are relying on that queue. It's the civilized way to wait your turn. So people are trying to go about it the polite way and not bog down servers by just spamming attempts. And I appreciate them for trying to follow the correct way. But if the queue is not going to work, then, I mean, again, we're being set up for failure from the get go before you even get into the arc.
Yeah, I'm hoping they can fix everything. Like you said, queues are awesome. I actually like the idea of them. They just need to completely fix these queues, and I think it'll be.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. It's one of the things that they're going to fix. It'll be a soft patch, and they'll fix it soon, hopefully. Same thing with the single player servers not saving. We
Yep.
had, who was it in our Discord? Was it C Meerkat? Um, yeah, C Meerkat in the Discord was saying that they were not even able to play because it wasn't saving. And we're seeing that from a few people on Reddit and someone in our Discord, like I said. And everyone's saying that these games, you're doing hours worth of work, expanding your base. You know, you put in the effort to grind for an indie forge, get it all set up where you want it on the extended, newly built portion of your base. You go to save and quit. And when you come back in, you're back where you started and didn't have any of it finished. That would be absolutely devastating and very defeating.
Oh yeah, I don't even know if I'd play, to be honest. It'd be very frustrating.
And I wouldn't either. I mean, a lot of people don't have time for official servers. Official servers are a huge commitment, and unofficial servers are not for everybody because of the instability in the rule structure. So, like, it's not always an optimal situation to play official or unofficial. And if you're one of those people that single player is your bread and butter, then, like, that really sucks. That makes the game unplayable for you.
And I agree, because like you said, single player is just, it's just your fun little time together. You just kind of chill out. And I agree that if you can't even play that, man, that's pretty sad.
Yeah, and I mean, that should be the one thing that relies solely on your hard drive and should have nothing to do with Wildcard, in my opinion. So, like, the fact that it requires the online play for single player is kind of bogus, and this is a perfect instance for why it's bogus.
So kind of next up here, we got Ark animated series is hitting screens in 2024. I think they previously said the end of 2023. They're now saying 2024, which is awesome because I'm excited to see this animated series because it looks awesome so far. But they've not decided on a platform yet, which is very scary for all these people excited for the animated series.
And I think that's going to be a real neat little waiting game. We're probably not going to figure that out until very close to release. I bet it's going to be a whole lot of money talk and fiscal arguments and politics and stuff like that. It depends on. I don't know enough about the animated series at this point to be able to theory craft, but I mean, it's really going to depend on who's making it. I know for conversation, I mean, I'm probably going to butcher the companies and stuff like that, but I want to say it was like Funimation that used to make Dragon Ball Z. So, like, if a company like Funimation is going to make it, then it's probably going to end up on Crunchyroll or something more anime related. If it's going to be, you know, a Lionsgate type of film, which is, it's not going to be. That was just the first production company that popped into my mind. But if it was that type of thing, then I would expect it to be maybe on Amazon Prime. It's really going to depend on who's making it.
Honestly, so Vin Diesel's in it, different things like that. I have no idea either because I'm not such like a big media person or whatever. But just something that pops into my head is like Paramount. I don't know why, but Paramount is mine.
That's a good guess. I guess my counter to it is it's going to come down to what the rating is going to be, I guess. I would find it less
Yep.
likely to be on Paramount. But I don't know, because Paramount's got like The Exorcist and stuff on it. So, I mean, I don't know, man. If it's going to be really, really gory, I would not expect it to be on Paramount. But if it's not going to be over the top, then quite possibly. Or no, The Exorcist is on Peacock. That's not. I don't know, man. I think it's honestly going to boil down to who's going to
Yeah.
give them the most money.
I agree. They have no money. We'll say it again. They have no money. Whoever gives them the most money, we could name it Matt TV here and Jericho TV. And if we give them enough money, I think they'd put it on there.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be all about that. It's all politics and economics.
Yep.
'Tis the world we live in.
Yep.
What's next? What
So
else do we have on there?
probably the most exciting news for every survivor out there. Cryopods are coming this December.
This December, that's this month. So in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we are going to have cryopods. That's game changing.
And
I
that's a big game changer.
I don't know how I feel about that because okay, so it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, I don't know how I feel about it because I have been enjoying playing the game as it was intended, quote unquote, back in the day when everything was a simpler time and it was all easier. It's much more nostalgic for me. On the other hand, though, the amount of times that I got some pretty sweet babies that I've brought back to the base that I'm like, well, I'm going to bed in 15 minutes. I guess it's going to die anyway, but at least I got it here. So that can all be avoided with cryopods.
And okay, glad I can hear you again. I don't know what you finished off with, but just tell me what your end of your thing was, and I can go from there.
Oh, yeah. Basically, what I was saying was, like, it was nostalgic to not have them, and I played the game as intended, but the amount of times that I've brought home cool babies and wanted to breed things, but have been unable to, or it has died because I had to go to bed 15 minutes later, would all be totally unavoidable with cryopods. Or would be avoidable, I mean.
Yeah, I'll just go off that, just so you know. Sorry, one, this episode's gonna be terrible to edit, by the way.
Dude,
But because honestly, to me, you've been a robot this whole time. You probably understood by some of the things I've said, but I've barely been able to understand you. I just piece things together. It really didn't start though until like 17 minutes, so I'm not. Yep. Honestly, we can make it work because honestly, it didn't do anything until about 17 minutes. Yeah. So honestly, cryopods overall, I'm very excited for. At least a little bit. I'm excited for the fact of, like you said, I'm excited for the babies. Like, being able to breed. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I did this. I'm frustrated. I'm going to cry myself to sleep now. As I say this, I now think of me being on our PVE server, and I had 3 RG eggs, never picked them up, so they definitely just hatched, and all 3 of them died.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
So, one of the tribe mates even said to you, don't forget to pick him up. That's funny.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe I just did that. I'm very sad.
I'm glad we got it live, your reaction. That's too funny. That happens. That sucks, but that happens. Hey, don't feel bad. That's
Disclaimer,
only...
I'm not a noob.
Are you sure? You left your eggs out. Are you sure?
Oh, man. I don't know anymore.
Shame.
That's frustrating.
Funny.
Okay.
We can always pop out more. We've got the mated pair. It'll be all right.
Yeah, that's true. We still have all the ones that we can breed with. It was just annoying because it took 2 hours to do. But it is what it is. Okay, yes, cryopods. Let's get back to that here. Cryopods, very useful because you can do the babies back. Yes, I don't really want them back because, like you said, it's that OG feel. But I want them back from the aspect of, yeah, babies, I don't have to watch them forever. We've had multiple babies, like, just in the wild that we bring back that die. I had a 145, little carbonemus or little turtle, and it was even mutated. And it died because we couldn't take care of it. So, that goes to 2 things. That goes to, if we would have had cryopods, I could have just cryopotted the baby, and then I would have been just fine and had a 145 little baby. So, and then I would say the second thing is, maybe if we had more tribe members. So make sure you go join the PVE official Stranded Survivors tribe.
Let's go.
Other than that, yeah, cryopods, let's get them back. Let's get them back just for the babies. Even if you can only cryopod babies, that'd be awesome. What do you think?
Oh, that would be interesting. Like, it had to be under a certain size threshold, under a certain weight or something like that. That would be interesting. I think that would get confusing,
Yeah, that'd
though.
be cool.
That would be too inconsistent. And I mean, it'd be consistently inconsistent to the point where it would make sense, but it would be confusing. And I think that would just be frustrating for the player base. So, I mean, quality of life wise, I feel like either you do or you don't.
I agree.
And to be honest with you, to play devil's advocate, QC Survivor, I think it was, in our tribe said that cryopods, if you don't like them, don't use them. Because he wasn't very excited for them. He was a unpopular opinion that he didn't really want them back. So I feel like if you don't want them, don't use them. With any item in the game, you know what I mean? Like, as far as the flare gun goes, if you're one of those people that for some weird reason is like, I don't want flare guns in the game anymore, then don't use them. Cryopods, if they're going to bother you coming into the game, you don't have to use them. Super huge quality of life improvement, but it's not mandatory.
Yeah, but honestly, if you don't use the cryopods on official, it's going to bring your game behind. You might as well not play official if you're going to not use cryopods then at that point. You know what I mean?
That's true. I mean, not necessarily, because you can accomplish everything that you would need to without a cryopod. It would just take more time, be more difficult, and be more labor intensive. So if you are one of those super freakazoid tribes like your PvP server and you have 192 people or whatever it is at this point in there, then sure, that's easy peasy to just leave a baby out and you know it's going to be fine. But you gotta have, like you said, you gotta have cryopods if you're gonna play official and you're in a tribe of less than 20.
Yeah, definitely. No other option, to be honest. Matt, do you want to go over what's kind of next or what?
What is next?
What is next here is the Ark roadmap. I'm going to go through everything here and then kind of get your reaction to everything. So, October 2023, Survival Ascended came out. December 2023, Survival of the Fittest is coming out, like we said.
Mm-hmm.
Early 2024, slated Ark the Animated Series. March 2024 is Scorched Earth. So that's going to be the first map released. And we're going to have to play the island for approximately 4 months. What does that do? Like, can we play the island for 4 months?
Gosh, to be honest with you, no. I have never played the island. Like, I have never played the island before Survival Ascended came out. It was one of those maps that I played it for like 10 minutes and I was like, this is not great. And then all of my friends at the time, when I first started playing Ark, everybody was like just moving to the center because it had like just come out. And I started there. So that's where all my nostalgia is. That's where all of my learning memories and my beach bob moments are. So I have no attachment, no nostalgia to the island. And as I'm coming in as a total new player, like, it's kind of lame. I mean, no disrespect to anybody who loves the island, but like, the spawns for the resources are all clustered together in a few spots. It's not like they're spread out throughout the map. It's not convenient harvesting for everywhere. I feel like you got to go to a few specific spots to get a few specific resources. At least maybe that's just where we're at right now, but there's not any high level tames. There's not any like absolutely magnificent points of interest that I'm sitting here like, oh man, I want to go sit here and check this spot out. Like, it's just not doing anything for me, you know?
Yeah, and that's completely understandable to me because I do agree. I love the island. I started on the island. I didn't have any other map, but it is so frustrating just to be on the same map 4 months, a very long time, and we need something in between to keep us intact. I mean, yeah, we can go play unofficial, but if you want people playing your official servers, there needs to be some sort of improvise here.
Yeah, and I don't know what that's going to be because, I mean, to be completely honest with you, even come March, it's Scorched Earth. And out of all of the DLCs and all of the extra maps, yes, it was the second released, and yes, it's next in the timeline, but it's just not an exciting map. Again, it's not Ragnarok, it's not the center, it's not Fjordur, it's not the Lost Island, it's not any of these ones that I'm like. So I'm trying to figure out what's going to prevent the burnout for me. And maybe that's a good episode to do here in the near future because burnout is a very real thing and I'm really scared that being stuck on the island for 4 months and then being stuck on scorched earth for another 4 months after that is going to be very very big burnout.
I agree because those two, like you stated already, those two are not maps that are just like fun to play on a bunch. I mean, 2 months later, we have the center coming out, but that's a long time. What? That's like 6 months from now. The center comes out. Six
Yeah.
months.
And to be completely honest with you, that 2 months actually works for me because that gives us time. We got 4 months. So I want to beat the boss fights. I want to have all of my high stat Rexes, my UTs. I want to have everything Gigas, get it all set up, squared away. I want to prefab a base, and then I want to roll into Scorched Earth. I want to own the place, and then I got 2 months to get, maximum stat wyverns, as many as I can. And then as soon as the center comes out, I can move everything to the center, and I can get my home again. There's, that spot that I always talk about in the center, and I cannot wait to reclaim it and make it my home again.
Yeah, I think the center is going to be very cool. We always love the center. Um, overall, the center always has the higher level dinos. I mean, I'm assuming they're also going to be making changes to the center because something that I really haven't stated yet is that they are going to be making changes to Scorched Earth. Apparently, there's going to be some new caves.
Like fully new caves, as in were never in there before, or new caves as in like altered?
From what I'm understanding fully new caves that were not there before.
Okay, see, that could be interesting. That could add a little pizzazz to it that wasn't there before.
Yeah, so I mean, seems cool to me. I don't know
I
though.
mean, I
I guess
guess,
we'll see. That might make it just a tiny bit.
yeah. The opportunity to go caving in a new cave that I am unfamiliar with is appealing. Um, Wyverns and all the jerboas in all the colors, and that's really all Scorched Earth has for me. Once the center comes out, once Ragnarok comes out, those are the two that I will probably spend a majority of my time on. So, I mean, we've got Scorched Earth in March. You said May was when we were getting the center.
Yeah, May is the time that we're getting the center map.
What's next after May for the timeline?
So the rest of the timeline here is 2 months later we get July. On July 2024 we get Aberration. On September 2024 we get Ragnarok. October we get Extinction. 2024, of course. November we get Ark Survival Ascended Surprise. I wonder what that is.
I think that's probably that new map.
Appalachia, what you were talking about. That's what I think.
Yeah, yeah. I think Appalachia is going to be announced then, because that guy's been working on that for a long time, and I had heard whispers that it was going to be available pretty early on upon release, and then all of a sudden there were no whispers about it after that. So that leads me to believe that they're doing something with it, and that guy himself has been pretty active on social media, I believe. So I mean, he's still working on it.
Yeah. And I mean, that would make sense. I mean, 2024, that's a whole nother year pretty much. November. Holy smokes.
Yeah, but I mean, a year for a whole new map, I'm cool with if that's really what it is. I just, I don't know. I understand what they were going for with the timeline and trying to stick to the
So,
authentic schedule of like release and stuff, but I just wish that they would have mixed it up a little bit.
yeah, I see where you're coming from, honestly. Yeah, man. So, next, after the November surprise, got Velgaro in December. So, that's nearing the end of 2024, right? Um, it's a whole nother year from now. Okay. And we got
Mm-hmm.
February 2025, we got Genesis. April 2025, we got Crystal Isles. May 2025, we got the Genesis Part 2.
Yeah.
And then August, we got Lost Island. And then October 2025, we have Fajor. And right above Fajor, um, Ark 2 that has absolutely no date, no anything. People are now expecting Ark 2 to either be canceled or beyond delayed. They think they might can the game pretty much. A lot of people are thinking this game is not going to come out. Ark 2 may not be a thing anymore. What do you think?
I think that if they do can it, it's going to be really hard pressed for them not to bankrupt themselves as a company. I really think that might be the nail in the coffin. They're having economic problems. We all understand that. It's a real crappy time. But I really think that if they scrap Arc 2 after all the time, all the PR, the hype, the money for advertising, the casting and the voice acting and stuff that they've already developed into it, the writing, like too many people have spent too much money on this project to just scrap it now, that they would take such a massive hit to their payroll and to their company, and I don't know if they would recover from it. I think that if they did can the game, we might see a transfer of ownership, and maybe we would see Survival Ascended have a new owner, as scary as that is to say.
So, overall, honestly, I could see if they did get rid of Arc 2, having they really, I mean, they already have the money problems. So, I could definitely see them being able to go bankrupt. But yeah, you put so much into everything, it would be a big downer but it would give them a lot of focus on Survival Ascended, which I think people would enjoy, especially if they already plan on having Survival Ascended for 2, 3 more years. I mean, one, that gives them enough time to hopefully have the game ready if they were to do it. But I mean, it's a win lose. I feel like it's a lose for them because, like you said, they could like potentially just be done. They could be sold to someone else because they don't have money like that. I don't know. There's just a lot of if, ands, or buts if they didn't release the game. And I think overall it would be, like you said, it'd be really bad if they didn't release the game.
Yeah. And I mean, you say it gives them the chance to focus on Survival Ascended, but like not to be a smart aleck, but like what else do they have to focus on other than they're releasing these new maps that they're polishing? But I mean, what more focus are you going to put on them? They have in that roadmap, I mean, of course, there's going to be a couple forks in the road where they have new dinos, they have new items, they have like holiday events and things like that. But how much more can you truly focus that they would gain a win from scrapping that game? I don't see a way that they win from that.
Yeah, that's fair to be honest. I think that if they scrap the game though, overall, like yes, that's the thing they have to focus on. But like they can truly focus on it because I feel like right now, and maybe I'm wrong, I feel like right now they potentially could be also focusing on Arc 2 in the maps. So like it's like you got two teams working in different places, but I could be completely wrong. But I do understand where you're coming from. Like I can see the point of it being like, what does it even like? Does it actually do anything? Be good. I understand that it probably. I could see both sides.
I mean, not only like, am I being, yeah, I'm being pessimistic about how like the outlook of it for the company, but I just I don't see a world where anybody wins right now because right now my judgment on Wildcard is so clouded with frustration as I'm saying this sentence that it's tough for me to believe that we're going to get this polished game in the time frame that they promise. Like to be completely honest with you, you said there's no date next to it, so I genuinely would not be surprised. It's not going to release in 2024. It's not going to release at all that year because they have all these other big things for Survival Ascended they're focusing on. And to be completely real, I expect it to post or to drop maybe quarter 2 of 2025. And since that's what I expect, that means it's not going to be till quarter 3. And if they announce it for quarter 3, that means it'll get delayed till quarter 4 and probably won't actually release till, quarter 1 of 26.
Yeah, I don't think it released till 2026. At least, like you said, with everything they've been, gearing towards here, I don't think there's a chance that it releases any earlier than 2026.
And Wildcard, I love you, but we saw them have to take out such a predatory loan to get Survival Ascended out to us, and the deadlines that were put on them for it made for just an unpleasant time. I truly fear that it will be difficult for them to survive that long as a company. You almost need a banger to get released between now and Arc 2 for them to be able to get that cash cow, milk it a little bit, and then be able to produce, more content comfortably with a little bit larger of a staffing base and maybe take things a little bit faster paced from there. But for like where they're at as a company, I fear for their ability to stay alive with just Survival Ascended as their cash cow right now.
I agree. And I think that's exactly why they're trying to do microtransactions type of things or potentially doing them is because of that reason. They need the money for any project they can use it for.
Yeah. And it scares the crap out of me because this is exactly what we saw with 7 Days to Die. They struggled with their money, they struggled with some lawsuits. We saw changing of hands in the middle of development, and before you know it, console got screwed. And I see, PC players doing all these awesome things in 7 Days to Die, and I'm over here playing the 2016 version like a dingus. So, I mean, I'm scared that we're going to see that type of stuff happen to Ark too if they change hands.
That's fair. I think it could be a big downfall, even though I feel like it's a little bit of a downfall now because people are very frustrated. I think that I think it'd be the worst downfall they've had.
Yeah, I mean, I keep saying it, but I really don't see a world where they would bounce back from it if it didn't work out well for them. So, I mean, there's a lot of pressure right now to maintain all hands on deck, and improve the servers, improve the stability, get rid of all these issues with meshing and, things disappearing to 0-0 and dinos falling into the sky and through the floor and like all these other issues we can address later in different episodes. But like, they need to fix that stuff. They need to be able to get some good reviews out there. They have to increase the player base. They have to increase the number of servers to increase the player base. Like, all these things need to be addressed now in order to continue milking this cash cow to be able to keep the company alive. The inactivity and the inaction is going to be what kills them, I think.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say other than I agree.
So, balls in their court. I really am hopeful for them because I love this game and I love this company. I've supported them for a long time. I am hopeful that since they are addressing their own issues, they will, imminently fix them like they claim they would, and it'll be okay. But anybody who played Survival Evolved for long enough knows that these are the same exact issues that we've been dealing with forever. It's tough to bring in new players when your old players and your consistent players are sitting here being like, oh yeah, everything you love just disappeared through the floor and you can't get it back. Yeah, first time? Yeah, sorry about that. Like, that's not a good way to draw people in.
Well, Matt, is there anything you kind of, want to like shout out anyone? You want to tell any stories? Like, kind of what do you got for us here?
Yeah, everyone who's in the official PVE tribe, you guys are all killing it. You're all doing great work. Proud of you all, and we're making good progress. I do want to share just a little silly story. This was funny. QC Survivor posted a little video of it in the in-game footage section of our Discord, but we went out. Oh my gosh, this was such a series of events. Okay, so the other night when we were playing, you know how when I said a couple, like last week I think it was, that in PvE servers it just feels like the environment poops on you just a little bit harder?
Yep.
Gosh, it was so funny. We all take off, and QC Survivor and I were like, all right, we're going to go try to find an oviraptor because we're trying to get our egg production up. We're trying to get things going for the kibble farm. And as we're flying by, we notice a Carcharodontosaurus in this little ravine next to Smuggler's Peak. Or Smuggler's Pass, Smuggler's Peak, whatever it is. And we call over Joe Daddy. He comes over, and we're trying to figure out how to tame it. And I just tell everyone, like, oh yeah, it's super simple. You just got to drop a body to it. It'll eat it. None of us had the foresight to make a trap. I don't know why. I think it was because, like, there are so many people that have built in the area that we weren't even going to put the effort in. But either way, none of us really thought about it. It was only a level 5, so we didn't think it was going to be a big deal. Joe Daddy kills a parasaur, and we drag it to the edge of the cliff. And once again, the Carcharodontosaurus is down in the bottom of the ravine. He drags it to the edge of the cliff, and he's like trying so hard to push it forward and knock it off the edge without falling off himself. And I'm over here sitting on my arch and giving him crap about it, like, oh, you little chicken, just do it, rah, rah, it's not hard. So then I land and I get all pushy and I start taking my stuff off and putting it on my bird, making him feel the pressure. And then all of a sudden he's like, fine, I'll just do it. QC Survivor tells him, oh, it's okay, I'll pick you up, don't worry about it. So Joe Daddy chucks the parasaur off the edge, and he falls in the process. And you see the Carcharodontosaurus eat the parasaur and then start chasing him. So Joe Daddy's screaming in the mic as he's running away. He's like, pick me up, pick me up.
No.
QC Survivor's panicking. He's yelling at him to run into straight line as he's trying to pick him up. And he passes him once, misses him completely, swoops back around, misses him again. He swoops back a third time, gets it lined up perfectly, and then Joe Daddy panics and like zigzags at the last second, so then he misses him again.
No.
And the Carcharodontosaurus jumps down, eats him, kills Joe Daddy, and then we couldn't find his bag for like 15 minutes. We're like, oh my gosh. And he had a lot of Joe Daddy is always prepared. He always has, it doesn't matter what you need, what situation you run into, he's got something in his little handy dandy notebook knapsack there. So we wanted to find his bag and we couldn't. So we're trying to lure the car away, trying to find his bag. And after we eventually found it, we're like, all right, whatever. We're going to continue the oviraptor hunt. So we head north and we're like, I feel like there might be some right on the cusp of the snow area here. Why not? So we're swooping down in the beaches trying to check it. I get the bright idea to go look for a wolf because you know how I feel about wolves. I land
Yep.
and I'm like, oh, there's a wolf pack, but I forgot my spyglass. So I land my Argent and I was like, it's okay. I can eat a couple hits. Like, I'll be fine. I'll tank 3 or 4 hits and then I'll take off. It'll give me a chance to
Yeah.
scan a couple levels real quick. They jumped on me like a bunch of kindergartners with rabies and pinned me down, and I couldn't take off. My Argent was completely pinned to the ice, and they just manhandled me. So I panic, and I take off running, and I'm
Yeah.
just sprinting down the beach, jumping on rocks and stuff, trying to avoid these wolves that are getting me. And then QC Survivor lands down and tries to come at us, and he tries to help me, and then they pin his prized bird Katarina down, and she gets killed. And then I want to say we lost. I don't know if we lost a third Argent that night too, but I know we definitely lost the Pteranodon because I flew over on a Pteranodon to try to figure everything out and try to get it down again. We got the wolf down. I did get it down, and then we had to kill an aloe that was in the area, or a Carno, or whatever it was. I think a Carno. Oh, we had to kill 2 more wolf packs to keep it away from it, and we lost the 3 birds. Both of us died a few times. It was absolutely awful. We get it about 50% tamed, and then the server shuts down for an update. We were like, said it would be down for 15 minutes. Everybody gave up on it. I sat there and was like, all right, before I go to bed, I'm just going to wait the 15 minutes and try my bestest. We get back into the server. QC Survivor got in with me, I want to say, and the wolf was still down. And we were able to finish the tame.
What?
Unfortunately, yeah, it cost our neighbors their woolly mammoth because they were in the process of taming a woolly mammoth, and we got the wolf down right next to it. And then everything that we were trying to protect the wolf from started attacking the mammoth, and it was just a poop show. I felt really, really bad. So,
Oh,
those
sometimes
people,
things happen.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, if those neighbors are listening, you know who you are because it was an oddly specific story, and I owe you a mammoth. So, shout us out at the base, and we'll make sure we get you a mammoth one day. I feel pretty bad, but we got this 140 wolf home. He's magnificent. My kid named him Declan after our dog, and I mean it was rough. It cost a lot. It was a very unfortunate experience, and we got arced repetitively. And at the end of the experience, QC Survivor and I were just sitting there like, oh my God, we feel like total beach bobs right now. This is embarrassing. We felt like we just got slapped around by the arc for a little bit, and it was funny. It was a good time. You know what I mean? It was, looking back on it, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Now I remember, man. I remember just being there on the other side of the map. I'm like, Matt, you can take my Pteranodon. Next thing you know, it just dies.
I forgot that was your Pteranodon. I'm so sorry. Yeah, the Pteranodon like ran out of stamina or something like that, and then it was one of those where we were trying to defend it, and then it got whistled. I don't remember if it was whistled passive or what it was, but it was getting its total butt kicked, and then we tried to whistle passive flee, and it got away from the pack that was attacking it, but then a random Argent just swooped in and manhandled it. It was terrible. Everything that could go wrong for that like hour and a half period was definitely all going wrong back to back to back, and it was like a constant barrage of just cartoon antics. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh man, I got something I want to say too. Just a little shout out here. We had a tribe. I'm not gonna say their name, right? Whatever. Okay, but we had a tribe on our server. Um, we were getting attacked by a Carcharodontosaurus or whatever. Those things, and our tames were dying. And we had a guy help me and Cal um completely lure it off of the cliff off of our base, so it didn't need any more of our dinos. So shout out to our PVE server, man. Y'all are the best. The official server.
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple, jack wagons in there that steal babies, but aside from that, everybody else on that server, as overpopulated as it is, has been really, really cool. So I don't want to shout out the exact server number because we're not trying to make it more overpopulated, but like everybody who has seen the Stranded Survivors tribe in your global chat, you rock and we appreciate you.
Also, quick shout out here, Mav. Mav's going to be joining the tribe here on our PV's the official server. So let's welcome Mav a little bit.
Yeah, welcome Mav to the PVE official tribe, and also shout out to Mav too, because I gave the Adams Family Gaming some credit for part of the episode idea that we used last week, and then the other part of it was actually Mav as well. So shout out to Mav in retrospect for your excellent suggestion. Welcome to the tribe. I don't know if you're going to be on the official server often, but I look forward to having you on there, man.
Well, guys, overall, one thing I want to say on the end here is thank you for listening. If you listen this far, just remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Definitely share. That's a amazing thing to do. Get us out there a little bit. But other than that, I've had fun this episode. Thank you guys for watching till this time, or listening till this time. Sorry.
Yeah, descriptions are full of links. Go ahead and clicky. We look forward to seeing you. Come on down to the Discord, chat with us. We try to keep it as active as possible, but the more the merrier. So look forward to seeing you guys there. And like Jericho said, you made it this far, then you get a cookie, and we appreciate you.
Join the Discord so you can maybe be in a future episode of the Stranded Survivors.
Yeah, next week for episode 10, we want to do something big, something more exciting. So stay tuned in the Discord for a little announcement on what that might look like and how you may be able to participate depending on what it is. So, that being said, I appreciate you guys, and I am about to go jump in the Ark before I go to bed. So I would like to say have yourself a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Survivors, keep on surviving. And let us know, kind of what you guys want to see. Like, should we do an episode on burnout? Maybe we'll put that in the Q&A. And make sure you guys comment on the Spotify and interact with our polls in our Q&A. Thank you guys again. Keep on surviving.
Ooh, speaking of the interaction, sorry, you didn't stop, did you? Okay, good. Sorry, that was a real awkward interruption there at the end. You just reminded me with the interactions. I wanted to see if anybody interacted with our most recent poll. Nope, we have no ratings as of December 3rd. We have no ratings on a scale of 1 to 100 on what you guys graded Ark Survival Ascended. So I'm going to assume that it was all so great. You were having so much fun that you didn't have a chance to, mark your 100s there. So that's what I'm going to autofill that with. I think it helps with the algorithm, and if nothing else, I really like to hear what you guys have to say. So let me rake your brains and go ahead and answer that question down there for me. All right, guys. Take it easy. Have a great night.
See ya.